Hey there everyone, Dr. Beth Westy here, and I do these videos just to educate women more on whole food nutrition and supplements that you can shift and change in your everyday life to match your hormones so you are really aligning what you're eating and taking with your body physiology to get and keep a better and easier result. So, I'm the author of the book, The Female Fat Solution. This is a #1 new release and international bestseller on Amazon, and host of the podcast, The Female Health Solution. I have a YouTube channel, which is Dr. Beth Westy, which you can subscribe to stay updated on all the latest and greatest things coming out. And I have a new book that's coming out, and I even just sang about it there because I'm so excited. It's still being finished. There's still some things I'm tweaking with it. I really want to make sure that I pack the most amount of information into this resource for you. It is an addition to this book. So to get the most out of this book, for a lot of you that follow me or that have read this book, if you are in perimenopause, menopause, for whatever age you are at, this is going to be an amazing resource for you to add on, because this dives into the specifics of nutrition changes for women in menopause. Which brings me to one of the chapters in here that I talk about, one of the sections in here. It talks about supplements and herbs to your health when you are in menopause. Now, again, I like to focus for women on health. I know a lot of times weight loss can be a big struggle. I have a whole chapter in this book about the history of nutrition and why it's set up for men to be successful, not women. But especially when we're looking at menopause, this phase of life, women are like completely left out of the conversation when it comes to weight loss, being successful and keeping your results, staying successful with it. And so when I talk about weight loss, I'm not just talking about it in terms of like, oh, try and get skinny, right? This is about getting your body not to a certain number on the scale, but getting your body to a healthy, strong point. And what things do you need to do to get there and stay there? And so a lot of times I get questions on supplements. What do I need to take? Should I be taking this or that? Do I need to shift and change that? And the short answer for women when you go into menopause, the short answer is yes, you need to change what you're taking. You should be taking supplements, right? So in the book, I have detailed out more information, and the women who work with me in the 12-week menopause challenge. It's a 12-week meal guide, grocery list, everything else challenge that supports you in this. I have it all listed out for them, exactly what their routines should be, and it's tailored and custom for each person, but exactly what the routine is to really be successful throughout the day. But essentially when we're talking about supplements, there's, a few main supplements, about a handful of them that I really recommend for people. And just as a refresher, if you haven't seen this before, or if you've seen this before, the first one is going to be a good multivitamin. MVM multivitamin. Yes, you can get nutrients from your foods, blah, 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 all that stuff. But really, it's not going to be, everything. It's really hard to get all of your nutrition from your food. So adding in a multivitamin fills the gaps. That's great. A fish oil. Again, the omegas, there's so much research on omegas, the benefit, everything. Are you eating enough fresh fish to get your omegas for the day? That's the big thing, right? If you eat a lot of fresh fish, you're getting a lot of fish in your diet, super duper. But again, it's really tough. I don't live on a coast. I live in Minnesota. I live in Minnesota in a place where I'm not near a coast, so I'm not getting fish. Now, my husband does hunt and fish a lot, so we do get fish, right? But there's seasons for fishing. In the winter, it's ice fishing. In the summer, it's trout or whatever the season is. So yes, we do eat fish. I do eat a lot more fresh fish than other people, but I don't go and get it. My husband does. But I still don't get enough of it to really warrant not taking a fish oil on a regular basis. So, yes. Vitamin D, unless you live in a climate and are outside enough to get enough natural sunlight all the time, you really should be taking a vitamin D supplement. Especially, again, like I said, I live in Minnesota, like the frozen tundra practically, and for a good 9 months out of the year, I barely go outside. Just kidding. I do go outside. I'm just not out, or it's cold, right? So I'm always bundled up or covered up because I don't like being cold. Why do I live in Minnesota? I don't know. I was born here, so there's that. But getting enough vitamin D is going to be essential and really key in terms of helping your hormones balance. there's a lot of things that happen downstream that can be really bad if you don't have enough vitamin D. So that's a whole nother like book almost to get into, but that's a key thing there. Another one is a probiotic or digestive enzyme, because a lot of people are not getting enough digestive enzymes in their diet as well. The fifth one here is, again, I can talk about these things forever, but the probiotics, digestive enzymes, that's gut health. You really need to make sure your gut is functioning tip-top all the time to break down the nutrients that you're eating and absorb them. And so those are the two key things that need to happen. And for a lot of people, if you are constipated, if you have diarrhea, if you notice you're getting bloated throughout the day, like you're like, oh, it's okay in the morning, but after lunch, my stomach just starts to blow up, and then it gets really hard, and by the end of the day, it gets really uncomfortable, and that happens, every day, that's a problem. That's a problem. Or if you have a lot of, maybe it goes the opposite direction, you have a lot of diarrhea or something like that, that's a problem too. You're not absorbing your nutrients like you should. So having that is essential and key. Adaptogens to help your system downregulate. There's so much stress in our lives, right? And in the time that we live, the culture that we live in, so much stress for your system and body to handle all the time. So having adaptogens downregulates the stress response your system normally has, so it doesn't have all this negative chain reaction from there. So these are the basics that I recommend for a lot of women. Now, when we're talking about menopause specifically, some of this would depend on what your goal is or what you're looking to get to, right? But a lot of women, if they're like, oh, I got that tire around my midsection, I do a lot of this, or I do all of this, super duper. But you need to be taking some of these in an amount that's beneficial for women in menopause, because your body reacts differently to stress then. So I do recommend a different amount of this for women, an amount of adaptogens for women in menopause. Huge difference, huge result when you shift and change that. But like I said, it's not that you are doing it wrong. It's just your body now reacts differently to stress in menopause. So you need to shift and change what you're doing, to manage that. And then there's other things too, certainly like your digestive system slows down. Yay. So again, shifting and changing some of these things. Sometimes it's adding a little extra digestive enzyme in the afternoon can help your system, respond differently, right? So these are just a couple of things, modifying not necessarily what you're taking, but even the amount you're taking or when you're taking it. Huge difference in how you feel. And digestive enzyme, by the way, can be as simple as a little apple cider vinegar. It's so gross, I know, but a little bit of it. You can even water it down a little bit, but like a tablespoon watered down in a tiny glass and have that, with your lunch or dinner can help so much with that bloating that you have towards the end of the day. Yes. And then the other thing I would recommend and put up here for women in menopause, again, something to kind of look at and play around with. This is an optional one, but some type of beetroot. Now, a lot of athletes will use beetroot to increase their performance because it increases blood flow, increases oxygen, but also when your body goes through menopause, it can be tougher to detox. So this can be something that can open up, oxygenate your entire system. It gives your brain 25% more oxygen, cool, and gives you more energy, right? And helps your system flush through any of the extra toxins that it comes into contact with. So it's just easier, right? Helps your body do what it's designed to do better. So that's very different than, I'm going to start taking a fat burning supplement. That's not necessarily helping your system out, right? Those just different ways of looking at your body and how it functions. So my goal is to teach women how to use these simple things in an everyday fashion so that you can not only, feel better, that you've got more energy, you're sleeping better, but that you're also then getting a better result and able to start really seeing the results happen over time. Did they happen overnight? No, of course not. That'd be great if they did, but they don't. But you really start noticing as you start implementing more and more. And this is just some of them that I add on. I go through more in the book. So again, in the comments below, I'll put a link where you can click and join the wait list for when the book comes out. So that way, the second it's ready to go, because I'm still working on finalizing a couple of things, you are one of the first to know about this, about when it hits the shelves. Yeah, but there's more things that I can get to. And if you have questions, again, don't hesitate to reach out and ask. If you're looking at something, or if you're taking something, or if you're like, oh my gosh, I started this and it was terrible, or should I be doing this? You know, don't hesitate. I'm here for a resource for you. And again, my goal is to educate women to learn more about how you can use these simple everyday things to get healthier and stay that way easier. All right, so that's what I got for you today. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I will see you later.